Welcome back, drawing buddies. This week we're going to draw Invader Zim and GIR from pencils to inks to colors. So if that sounds like a good way to spend 11 minutes, yeah, this is a short one. Let's draw. So Invader Zim was created by Johan Vasquez. I'm terrible at names. I even met the guy once at San Diego Comic-Con, but I didn't say his name because I didn't want to say it wrong. But he started out doing things like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and Squee and Nail Bunny and a couple other things, which I actually read back shortly after they came out. I didn't get Johnny the Homicidal Maniac on a first print. I think I got the second print. And then I have all the other ones. And then I was watching Nickelodeon with my son one day back in the early 2000s and this weird alien show. Invader Zim popped up, and it said created by Johan Vasquez. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the guy who is doing Johnny and Squee and all these really messed up comics that children should not be reading. And they gave him the keys to a children's show. And I'm like, this could be bad. And it definitely should not have been for kids. But it was awesome. And I did let my son watch it because I'm a terrible father. No, I'm not. I'm actually a pretty good dad, I think. At least he says I am, unless he's lying to me. I don't know. But I let him watch Invader Zim. And I remember watching it one time. My sister came over and she's like, what are you watching? And I like Invader Zim. She's like, should he be watching this? I think so. If you don't want your kids to watch it, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But yeah, we were watching Invader Zim. And Invader Zim is kind of messed up. And it's fun, and it's funny, and it's extremely ridiculous, and it has that humor that Vasquez is known for. It just toned down a lot. Less unaliving and stuff in it, and less trauma to children. So Invader Zim starts out with the almighty tallest, because in Zim's culture, the taller you are, the more esteemed you are, and the more respected you are. And their leaders are called the Almighty Tallest. And the Almighty Tallest want to conquer the universe. So they send invaders to various planets to scope them out and find their weaknesses, and then they invade the planet and take it over and, use its resources and enslave its population and all that stuff. Really nice, light stuff for children's shows in the early 2000s. So, I guess Operation Impending Doom 2 is what they're doing for. I'm doing this by memory, by the way, so there will be mistakes. So Impending Doom Operation Impending Doom 2 is the name of the operation, and they're getting all the invaders ready to send them on their way to all these planets to conquer these planets. And Invader Zim apparently made a big mess of Operation Impending Doom 1. He operated as mecha before it started, and he was attacking his own people on his own planet, and it's kind of funny. And so the Almighty Tallest, who definitely are not all that bright themselves, banished Zim to a solar system that's basically the whole thing is a food court, food courtia. And Zim is, serving fries and whatever and living out his sentence. And then he hears that they're recruiting for Operation Impending Doom 2. So he quits his banishment, and he goes to the ceremony. And when he shows up, like, didn't we banish you to Food Courtia? And he's like, yes. Then why are you here? He's like, I quit to join Impending Doom 1. And they're like, you quit your banishment? And he's like, yes, I must help my people. Oh, the pencils are done. And we're inking Zim already. Jeez, this is going to go by super fast. So, so Zim shows up, and they're like, oh, what do we do with this guy? He's quit banishment, and I don't think he's going to take no for an answer. So the Almighty Tallest randomly pick a planet on their star chart that's not supposed to be conquered, or they're not going to deal with, because it's just so insignificant it doesn't matter. And they land on Earth. Their pin lands on Earth. So they're like, you are going to go on a super secret top mission, Zim? And they send him to Earth. And before they send him, they're getting their little robots to help them take over the planet. They're called SIRs. I forgot what SIR stands for. But for his, they take out his brain and they put like garbage in it. So I think it's a garbage whatever unit. And they call it GIR instead. And Zim's like, is it supposed to be this stupid? And they're like, it's not stupid, it's advanced. And GIR's doing all this GIR stuff, do, and dancing and blah, blah, blah. So, Zim heads to conquer Earth. And then he gets there, and it's supposed to be all undercover and stuff. And his ship lands and starts building a house because it's scanning the area. And it's just making all this noise and setting off alarms and going through other people's houses to siphon off power and stuff and just making a mess of everything. I love Invader Zim. It's pretty great. I also remember I used to take my son to Barnes & Noble. A friend of mine worked there, and we'd get coffee, and we'd read magazines, and I'd always get him he liked Mad Magazine of all things. So I'd buy him a Mad Magazine, take it home, and he'd read it. And one time we were there were some Nickelodeon magazines, and I was flipping through them, and they actually had comic strips for Invader Zim. And they were done by Vasquez. And I'm like, oh, these are awesome. So I bought those. I looked for a few more on eBay, and I think I found them. I don't know where those are. I hope they survived the move. I gotta look. And then in the 20-teens, they put out a Zim comic, and I got all of those up to a certain point. I don't think I bought every issue. I got up to like issue 20 or something. And for my kid, I bought him, even though he was older at that point. I got him these giant editions that they did that were pretty cool. I should have got myself some of those too. And yeah, so we were an Invader Zim household. In fact, after they canceled Zim, you couldn't get DVDs right away. So I ordered rips off eBay that we would watch on my computer because they didn't show it all the time. And then one day we went to the movies and we were walking around the mall because malls were still a thing back then. And we went into Hot Topic, and Hot Topic closed earlier this year, last year in the local mall. And we saw the Invader Zim DVDs on the shelf. And I looked them up. I'm like, these are, wow, okay. Because they weren't supposed to be out for like another 2 weeks, but they put them out early, so whatever. So we bought them all. And then we started watching the DVDs, which was much better than the computer rips that I had. And they even had like a Christmas episode that never aired, and that was super cool, because then we got to see New Zim. And then I think it was before the DVDs came out, Palisade Toys, they put out a bunch of Invader Zim stuff too. So I got him all those figures. I should have got myself figures too, because they ended up being worth a lot of money, and they're also really cool looking. Oh, the inks are done. It's time to color Invader Zim. I could barely finish a thought before we get through a section. So wow, crazy. So anyway, the toys. So I got him all the toys, and those ended up being worth a crap ton of money. So I should have got myself a set too, because they didn't survive his mother's house. I don't know what happened to all those toys he had there. I think they just ended up with his brothers and sisters that she had later on. But yeah, I wasn't one of those parents who was like, oh, I bought you those toys, so they have to stay at my house. No, if I got him something he wanted to take it home to his mom's house, he could. I just told him, I said, if you want to use it here, you got to bring it back, because, you know, I'm not getting you two of them, because I got him all the cool stuff, and his mother got him all the boring stuff. So that's just how it worked in our household. But she was a good mom. I'm not ragging on her at all. So in 2016, I think it was, I finally got a chance to go to San Diego Comic-Con. And I was mostly there to buy comics for other people. But, you know, I really wanted to go because I wanted some Mondo posters. And Johan Vasquez was going to be there. Again, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong and you ever see this, feel free to correct my pronunciation. And that's all I wanted, was to get in the line to you know, hopefully get a sketch from Mr. Vasquez. And a friend of mine was in Artist Alley, so he was able to get in earlier than me. So he actually went and got me the ticket that I needed to get in, which of course I lost. But I took a picture of it with my phone, and when I went to the booth, I'm like, listen, I lost my ticket. I'm so sorry. I know that you probably shouldn't let me in, but I do have a picture of it. And I showed him the picture, like, you know, normally we wouldn't let you, but you seem sincere and you have the picture, so, you know, we're going to put you in line. And I was the second person in line, and I made the biggest mistake I ever made at a Comic-Con while sitting in that line. There was another girl in the line, and we were just talking about Zim and all the other things he did. And I said, oh yeah, the thing that I'm most here is hopefully he'll do a sketch for me. She's like, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't even think of that. So the line finally started, and he was really cool, and the other people were really cool there. And she asked for a sketch because I gave her the idea. And he did a nice sketch for her, Zim. And then it was my turn. I'm like, oh, yeah. I gave her the idea for the sketch. I was hoping I could get one too. You know, I've been following you since the Johnny days. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And then his handler said, oh, no more sketches. They take too long. I'm like, are you serious? But he's like, no. This is what we're going to do. So he drew like the outline of a sketch, and then he passed it on to the artist of the comic, and they did part of the sketch. And so I sort of got a Vasquez sketch, just it's partially him. It's on one of the issues from the comic series that I have, a variant cover that I bought there because I didn't bring anything with me. I also realized I didn't talk about the drawing at all, and we're almost done. I did the blur thing and the dots and the colors and all the other fun stuff. But yeah, this is just going to be a short series of 10, 15-minute videos, and the voiceovers are going to go super quick too, apparently. And I'm not going to be able to get too deep into the characters, but I'm doing things that are fun to draw and simple to draw, and things that I want to draw that wouldn't fill up a whole video, and Zim is one of them. And Invader Zim is done. See that? That was quick. So thank you for stopping by, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I hope you have a great week. There'll be another video up in a couple days. And go out and draw something.